Hello. Good evening, everybody, and a very warm welcome to round number 7 of Virtual Sim Leagues around Monza. And apologies if you can hear my fan in the background. I am absolutely boiling, so I'm going to have it on, I'm afraid. So if you can hear my fan, I'm really sorry. I might have to turn it off in a minute, actually. But we're at Monza. The Formula Euro Open special event begins with the Tifosi's favourite track, which was built in 1922. And it had an original length of 10 kilometres. It consisted of a road course and a high-speed oval. And it was first hosted in the F1 calendar 1950. Most famous for an F1 car that can reach top speed of over 350 kilometres an hour. So, how the F2 system is going to be working today. So, they have been assigned an F2 car based on their F1 constructor. And they will be doing one-shot qualifying to start with to decide the grid for the sprint race. The top 8 will score points from 8 points down to 1 point. And then there'll be a feature race and it'll be normal VSL points as well. Glock currently leads the overall championship and he also is leading the Formula Euro Open as well. Last week we were at Silverstone and that was a really iconic track. No shoes reports from the drivers, which was really great to see. The last safety car restart, I have to say, was pretty good. I have to say I'm picking out a few parts of the circuit which can be difficult for the drivers. Of the first corner, the first chicane. It's really hard to slow down at times. You have to brake really early, a tight right left turn. The two Lesmo corners as well, really medium speed right-handers that really test the driver's patience and traction. You have to turn in early and brake late, which some people find quite tricky. Ascari as well, quite tricky with the left, right and the left turn as well to get right. And also to not lose it and put it in a wall, which you can do on F122, but on F123, luckily it's just so much better. It's so much better to drive that Ascari chicane, but I wonder how it is on the F2 cars situation as well. So let us know your opinions on that. We'll see who we go on board with in just a second. Obviously the drivers are having some time to get their setups ready, and they have been given a mandatory 2-minute waiting time in between sessions, because otherwise it will be, I think, a bit unfair as well. And there are some drivers who are in the wrong cars as well, which is going to be very confusing, but we will get there. We will get there as well. So, who I think is going to get pole position? Well, it could go anyone's game, because we haven't had a one-shot qualifying in so long. I think personally, I think it could be Glock again. I think Glock's been the one that's been the most consistent out of all the drivers so far in this season. I'm going to be turning my fan off. I'm going to be doing after one shot. Actually, going to be doing it now. So I thought I could get my one of my VSTs working on my mic, but it turns out that I can't get that working. But fingers crossed, I'll have that sorted for next week. So we have got the countdown for one-shot qualifying. So we are about to get underway. Let us know in chat who you think is going to get pole position. By the way, the first ever world champion actually won around this track. Giuseppe Farina. And then Monza was redesigned again in 1954. Parabolica was installed back then as well. And that was at the time when the cars could reach an average of 134 miles per hour per lap. So let us take us on board around the 5.793 kilometre circuit. We'll go on board with Yarham, as he's the first person I see out on track then. So, heading towards the start-finish straight then in 6th gear. That's the maximum that you can take in these F2 cars. As I get the scene up, there we go. That would help as well. Heading towards the variant of Revelio. Heading towards Curva Grande now of turn 3 as well. Plant your cars close to the right as you possibly can to gain the best speed as well. Still 6th gear, but on entry you're going to be heading it around 4th or 3rd gear in towards the Variante de Rogia of 4 and 5. Now heading towards the first Lesmo. Keep your car fully planted to the right as you can. Brake as late as you can but not as late as the F1 cars. You need to brake slightly earlier. Now this would be a DRS zone in the F1 cars, of course. This is where you go at full power. We see a few overtaking opportunities through there, heading towards the Scary then of 8, 9 and 10 on the right, left, right. We've seen problems there in F2 as well, where it could cause safety cars, and during qualifying as well. I do remember in real life that there was loads of drivers that wanted to tie when they couldn't get it, and there was a few drivers that didn't make across the line in time because of that. And yes, but anyway, we got Johan going up to the line. See what he can do. Can he get pole position and beat Flexi's time? No, but it's quite close between the pair of them, about 5/100ths of a second, as Flexi, our reserve driver, who is now back. He is a VSL World Champion, remember. So he is a driver that could be a force to be reckoned with. Glock, who I thought was going to get pole position, he's starting at the back. So unfortunately, I jinxed him, which is a bit annoying. But anyway, let's run through your order then. So we got Flexi in P1, we got Johan in P2, David in P3, Leroy in P4, Speed Knight in P5, Casper in P6, Matter in P7, Gaff in P8, Kieran in P9, Waity in P10, Tony in P11, Enzo in P12, and Glock will be in P13. So that is the starting order for your sprint race. And around about less than 2 tenths separating between the top 4, which I have to say is pretty incredible. Great to see. I wonder if they're going to have the same close gaps in the sprint race. Not that close, but obviously all within that same DRS train as well. And a few people saying that Ascari lost him a bit of time as well. To be honest, that's what I would face if I was in the F2 cars anyway, so that's understandable for them. So it is time now to go through your standings then. So we've got, in the overall standings, we've got Glock that is leading the way. I need to actually zoom this down on the standings. There we go. So Glock leading the way on 107. Andreas has decided to leave the league, unfortunately, but he is second on 105. Casper is third on 72. Tony is fourth on 52. We've got Matter in fifth on 50. Cam in sixth on 50. Enzo in seventh on 41. Yarham in eighth on 40. Gaff ninth on 36. Nick, one of our reserves, he's not here tonight though, on 34. It's actually his birthday today, so happy birthday, Nick. He just got home from work. Leroy in 11 on 33. Then we got Ewan, Waitsy, Kieran, Twisted, Vessier, Finley, David, who's back from his race ban, Speed Knighton, and then we got loads of other drivers as well. But what does that do overall with the Formula Euro? Because we do have regional championships as well. We've already done our first one, but we're on round 2 of the regional one. So if you'll let me sort it out. Oh, come on. It's not letting me sort it out based on the regional championship, but it is Glock that leads that one, and then Matter in second. So we are about to go with the formation lap, so we will get the order for you in just a moment. There we go, as I get the telemetry up as well. So 11 laps, they're all going to be on the mediums compound of tyres this evening. Now, it'll be interesting to see how they fare in terms of that one. Will we get any safety cars, or will they not? They do not have to pit in sprint races. It's like the usual F2 sprint races where they don't have to pit unless they get damage, or if they would benefit from pitting due to changeable conditions or a safety car. If you are liking the action here today, don't forget, of course, you can subscribe, hit the notification bell if you are new, and all that good stuff. So make sure you do that. And we also are on Twitter at VSL_R1. Now, a few things I'm going to be plugging throughout the stream as well is we got a VSL Rally launching. And we'll be launching a Rally League on the upcoming EA Sports WRC game, which was announced yesterday as a trailer. And it's being released on November the 3rd, 2023. And if you want to join our Rally League, check out VSL_Rally on Twitter to keep up to date with all news relating to this venture. So really great that they're doing this. I might take part in it myself. I just need to actually see if I do have the time for it. But it is great that they're doing that. So make sure you check that out. That'll be much appreciated. So we are about to get underway for 11 laps of goodness. And don't forget also, because it's a sprint, it's not like the normal sprint we had in the first feature event, where it was whoever started on pole gets pole in that. It's I believe it's the top 10 that get reversed. So Waitsy was qualified in 10th, so he will be starting in pole position. So pretty much replicating the F2 rules here, just to be sure. Good old F2 style goodness. And I said good in twice in one sentence, which is not ideal. So who do you think is going to win the race? Let us know. And by the way, of course, you can follow me on Twitter as well, at JessGames95. And I'm not going to call it what it's meant to be called, because I don't agree with that. Quite a few disqualifications, but we are about to get underway in Monza for the first race of the evening. The 5 red lights are coming on. And we are underway here at Monza. Looks like a good start from Waitsy. Good start from the likes of Kieran as well in P2. Matt has got a really good start, actually. Has 3 cars that have been forced off wide into the first chicane then. Let's see if they can all manage it. No, it's a few people going off, but it's better than I've seen most other Monza races, which is great to see. Matt has dropped down, I think, a few places because of that. But we got Waitsy that's leading, Gav second, and we got our first for time, and that is Glock. We got our VSC deployed already on that one. So what happened there is I think Glock must have hit someone or lost it somewhere, but I'm sure we would get a bit of an idea as to what happened with him very, very shortly as well. But we got our first full VSC. I'm surprised it wasn't a safety car, but it is what it is. So Waitsy managed to keep it clean. Gaff as well got a good launch off the line. Kieran did eventually, but Gav overtook him once again. So it was a great fight between the pair of them as well. We'll get the position gain in just a moment as well. Tony, by the way, up 4 places. Ewan up 3. So those two having a good start to their F2 campaign so far. Both of those people were hoping they would want to get points for the normal season and this Formula Euro Open as well. And this VSC is going on for a bit longer as well. And Tier 2 has a VSC as well. So there we go. And Omi was jinxing everybody in the chat. So Omi, that is your fault. Anyway, VSC has now ended. Kieran has lost position from Mata as well as they go side by side in and towards the start-finish straight then as well. All very, very tightly congested at the moment as they all try to get past each other as well. It's going to be 3 wide against the top 3. Casper trying to go down the inside of Mata into the first chicane, which he almost does, but he's lost a few positions because of that. No, he hasn't actually. No, Casper has gained the position back. It's just the timing's having a little bit of a hissy fit on me, which is very, very annoying. So Casper up into third. It's going to be hard to get used to the F2 livery, so bear with me as I do that as well. As Kieran in the Red Bull Academy livery, has he almost gone off the track? Surely he would probably have to get the position back, but I think he does as Casper gets in to third place. Meanwhile, we've got Leroy and Mata fighting for P5, trying to go around the outside of the second Lesmo. Mata covering Leroy off very nicely as he's up into 5th. Yellow flag. Oh, God. That was a big crash. 3 cars out, and we have a safety car. Now, I didn't catch all of it because, to be honest, on this game, the cameras are absolutely rubbish. Absolutely rubbish. So, will these people think about having the opportunity to pit and go on to a softer tyre, or will they save it for the race? Bearing in mind that they do not have to pit in this race if they don't want to, but they can if they want to have the best tyre advantage as well. But for me, around Monza, track position is key. You don't want to be at the back or near the front. You don't want to be in the middle, because that's where all the problems are caused as well. So, unsurprisingly, the top 3 stay out. Kieran stays out as well. Mata decides to go in. And I think he's the only driver that comes in. Everyone else stays out. So it'll be interesting to see what tyres Mata goes on. I think he's going to go on to the red tyres. The softs. There he goes. At least the tyres in Monza are easier to distinguish because the tyres around other tracks is very confusing to me. So thank you, Monza, for making it very easy for me. So it will take a while for the safety car to bunch the whole field together, but we will run through your order then as it continues. Hopefully we'll get some actual racing because we haven't had any DRS running yet so far. So we've got Waitsy, who's leading, Gav second, Casper third, Kieran fourth, Tony fifth, David sixth, Flexi seventh, Ewan eighth, Pete ninth, and Enzo 10th and Matt 11th as well. Don't forget, only the top 8 in this sprint race do score points. And as Matt tries to catch up, which is not going to be that difficult, but I think he will be out for another lap as well. People will may try and think about potentially pitting again, by the way. And just to let you know, I have written some good facts. The 1971 Italian Grand Prix was the closest ever finish to a Formula 1 race. And the top 6 drivers crossed the line within 0.6 of a second of each other. So there we go. And in an F1 car, of course, 79% of a lap around Monza is spent on full throttle. I wonder how much of that is in F2. I think that is something I'm gonna take a good look at maybe after this race, and we'll probably let you know on Twitter, which can be quite interesting. So Speed Knighton decided he's gonna pit. He obviously doesn't want to lose time to the double stacking, but he's gonna drop down to the back anyway. Or maybe he wanted more grip on his tyres potentially. That could be a smart move. But here comes Pete out of the pit lane. And he's going to go onto the soft tyres as well. Now, could these last to the end? We don't know. Will these guys last a few laps without chaos? I remember last season around Monza, it was absolute chaos, by the way, in Tier 1. So many safety cars in the sprint race alone. And in the feature as well, it was quite hectic. Not as hectic, obviously, as the sprint. There was only a few safety cars in that. But, yeah, that is something to consider, that it is kind of used to a lot of chaos here. But I was hoping with the F2s it'll be different. But not many people in this league races on the F2 cars often. To be fair, this is my first race I've ever commentated on the F2s in quite a while, actually. I'm trying to remember when was the last one I did. I can't remember, but I will have to look at my archives very, very shortly as well. As Speed 19 heads towards the second Lesmo as well. Now, I've got a question as well for you guys in the chat. Who do you think is going to be getting the first penalty? That is going to be interesting. Now, you can cut Ascari a little bit as well. We did see quite a few people invalidate their laps in quali anyway, so we could see a few. Flexi, I think, got one earlier on, but it might be speeding in the pit lane, or did he get one earlier? Yeah, he did get one for speeding in the pit lane. So did Casper as well. That is not what you want. He's going to lose a chunk of time because of this. Quite a few staggered pit stops. We got half the field deciding, right, I'm going to come into the pits and go on a set of soft tyres. Oh, Casper. Oh. Casper's got front wing damage. Now, I did not see that. I did not see how he got it. So he must have picked it up from somewhere. And he's taken a while to leave his pit box as well. But at least he's going to be on fresh tyres maybe. And he's got time to fight back as well. And with the trap being so high speed, it won't be that long before he tries to catch up to the safety car. Anyway. And by the way, we're almost on 200 subscribers. So if you haven't already, invite your friends to subscribe to this league. So we can get to 200 subscribers. I'm on my own tonight since the lead commentator for Tier 2 Rando is busy, so my co-com has to fill in for Tier 2 tonight, but hopefully things will be back to normal next week. But I should cope with solo comms, no problem. A safety car will be in this lap. And please, let's see if they can make it unscathed without a VSC or a safety car. But knowing me, I would probably jinx myself, because I always jinx myself in this league. So, wait, see, going to be the Burt Mylander of this situation now. The number 9, as he heads towards this back straight. And it's now called the Alboreto curve coming up, but I still like to call it Parabolica. I hate calling it Alboreto curve. Parabolica, in my opinion, does sound, I think, a lot nicer, if you can agree. You may disagree, and that's fine by me, as Waity has got a good launch off the line. Everyone else has been caught off guard there as well, so Waity still leads, but Tony has got an almighty restart. He heads towards turn number 1 in that Carlin car. He goes to the right-hand side, tries to go maybe the long way around on Kieran, then towards turn number 2 as they come up there through past turn 2, this last part of the first chicane. And Tony gets P3, but for how much longer? Kieran tries to attack again as they head towards turn number 4. And that is the Variante Rogia. And look at that. David trying to come back as well. Really good move from David, actually. So David up to 4th. Flexi, this is well, much cleaner racing from the pair of them, as well as Flexi tries to dive around the right-hand side into the second Lesmo. Doesn't quite do it at the moment. He's driving Roy Nassani's car. Hopefully he'll do better than what obviously Roy Nassani did in real life. Because Nassani always likes to do questionable moves, if I do say so myself, as Flexi for a scary chicane. Ooh, just about leaves much space on the likes of Kieran and Ewan as well in the background. And we do have a yellow flag. That is Casper. No, that's Pete. That is Pete. That's had an issue. Oh, God, it's going to be 3 wide as they head towards the Parabolica. 3 wide towards the Parabolica as Mata sends it up the inside. A bit of a squirm for the likes of Kieran as well. Yellow flag again. I don't know who that's for. That is you, and that is pointed the wrong way. So he's down into 11th spot, and he goes into the pits as well. We've got a battle for the lead as well. We've got Waits versus Gareth. And Tony as well, right in the middle of this. Surely he would want to do it past Retfilia and heading towards Kerbagonde, but Waits, he still holds on to P1. Tony, I think, is going to try and get past both of them as well. He's going to try and get past Gareth, which I think he does with ease, but Gareth covers him off nicely. Bit of contact, but no harm done as well. Tony up to 2nd. And Kieran has gone for a little bit of a spinneroonie, and so has Enzo. Enzo, I don't think, has got a front wing. Oh, nope. Enzo's front wing still remains intact. Okay, that explains it. So our top 3 still running it relatively close together, but can Mata catch up? Mata, by the way, is up to 4th. So Mata has gained a lot of places in this race, and surely he would like to keep it that as well. I'm going to be saying one of the worst decisions to rename it to from the Parabolica to the Alboreto curve. Yes, finally, someone that actually agrees with me about that. But yeah, that is true. That is true. As we're about to start lap 8 out of 11. Don't forget, 8 points for our winner of this sprint race. And the top 8 will score points. It's 8 points all the way down to 1. DOS is enabled. As we can see, Tony going to try and go for the race lead. He gained about a few places already at the start. He's looking to gain another one past about the Rantifilio chicane. As Tony gets the lead from Waitsy, as Casper trying to dive up the inside of the Rantifilio chicane, and he does. Casper's up to 5th, but bearing in mind, Casper and Flex did have that time penalty. By the way, P is on a combat charge, so those safety cars have helped him ever so slightly. He's probably relieved that a safety car has indeed came out a few laps ago as well, because otherwise he would have been, I think, in the middle of nowhere. Meanwhile, Enzo and Kieran trying to fight it past in towards turn number 4. And it's going to be harder than they once thought. Oh, someone, I think Enzo surely has got to let Kieran through, which he does. Fair play to him. Because we've seen people in real life get penalised because they don't let them through. So let's hope that they obviously are sensible as well. Mata trying to fight with Gareth in towards the Sky chicane. It's a left, right, left, which could prove difficult. And Mata takes it. At the moment, he's on the podium for the sprint race, and he wants to keep it that way. Gareth in 4th. He's under pressure now from Casper, who's fighting back. Same with Flexi as well, so we could see the train developing. Waitsy is now out of DRS to Tony, so Tony is absolutely flying, and he's on a class of his own compared to the rest of the field as well on lap 9 of 11. Casper sets fastest lap, and I think he's going to have the DRS, but he's not going to gain too much of a slipstream to do anything about it. He's in Terry Porcher's car currently, and Terry Porcher could be on course to be winning an EF2 title this season in Abu Dhabi, because he's got a massive point advantage. I think if he scores, he should be absolutely fine, but I didn't even need to outscore Bestie. Casper looking for the attack once again, but Gareth covers him off once more. Great battle between the pair of them as Ewan sets the fastest lap of the race so far, and then David's like, you know what, you're not having that party. I'm gonna potentially get that fastest lap. And don't forget that the drivers, they don't use any ERS in F2. So that's something they've got to get used to, and having a similar amount of fuel as well. As Mata gets past Waitsy into a Scary. Beautiful move from Mata as he chases down Tony. But will it be too little too late? Will it be too little too late? I don't know. We've got pretty much 2 laps to go after this one, as Tony's past the back straight now. Bearing in mind, if they're within 1 second of the car ahead and within the DRS zone, that is when they can have the DRS on. I think someone in F2, I think in real life, enabled it at the wrong time. However, I can't remember if they penalised or not. Luckily, you can't do that on the game. So, we still got a nice, intense midfield battle. Flexi has gained a bit of time on Gav that lap, but is unable to make any headway so far. There's Tony that leads Mata in 2nd. Waitsy's dropped out of DRS on Mata, unfortunately. So Waitsy struggling with the pace a little bit on these final stages, so maybe the tyre temps, tyre pressures struggling a little bit. He was strong at the start. Obviously, there was a lot of safety cars that helped him, as we've got a yellow flag. That is one of the Prima boys. Or is it one of the Prima boys? Yeah, it was probably David. No, it wasn't David. What's that yellow flag for? Oh, it was Ewan, wasn't it? Yeah, it was Ewan. It was Ewan that lost it. That explains it. Of course, we still got the feature race to go coming up as well. I can't remember on the top of my head how many laps we got. I should have checked, really, the lobby at the start, but I didn't, because I'm a naughty boy. A naughty gal, sorry. Why do I call myself a naughty boy? Because I'm a naughty gal. As Gav lost 2 places, as Flexi and Speed Knighton get past Gav, and Flexi is up into P5. As we're about to start the final lap of this race, Mata is really on fire in terms of his pace. I think he's got a DRS. Yes, he has. So, will he be able to use the DRS to fall on the final lap? We'll have to wait and see. Through the Refilio chicane, for the final time, as Speed Knighton gets past Flexi, or does he, in towards turn number 1? Good amount of space, but Flexi tries to go get the switchback on Speed Knighton then. Through turn 2, heading towards the Curva Grande very, very soon indeed. As we got Flexi and Speed Knighton dueling it up at the moment. We'll keep an eye on our top 2 in just a second as they head towards the Variante Rogia, turn 4 and 5. Ooh, bit of gods out there. Through goes Gareth, I think, as he tries to get past both of them. He gets past one in towards Lesmo 1. But he doesn't get past the other one. Casper with a 3-second time penalty. I believe that's the first normal track limits penalty. Let's keep an eye on the front lot. As Mata, around 4/10 of a second separating him and Tony. Casper trying to defend up the inside of Ascari. Nicely done. Very late on the brakes there for Casper, but timed that well. So will this be a photo finish? We'll keep an eye on Mata's pace. He hasn't won a race for a very long time in this league. So, and he wants to make it history tonight. Here he goes and up to the start of the time. I think it might be too little, too late. As Tony wins by 9/100ths of a second. Mata in second, Waitsy in third due to Casper's time penalty. Speed Niter, by the way, in fourth. Decent points for him. Gaff in fifth. Casper in sixth. Flexi in seventh. Enzo across the line in eighth. Ewan in ninth. And it will be David and Kieran that rounds up your orders. Kieran has had a spin through Ascari, which is not ideal. So, what did you think of F2's sprint race? And we get to do it all over again in the feature. Slightly longer, of course, and the drivers will have to do a pit stop. I think it's 15 laps. Hold on, let me have a look at what it was in F2 in real life, actually, because that would give me an idea. But there's literally like loads of tweets, so it's hard for me to... I'm sure it was like 30 laps in F2, so I think it might be 15 laps for the sprints. Obviously, we're running 50% here, so I think that's what it is. Yeah, it is 30 laps. I was right. The normal 100% race, it will be 15 laps if we're going on the 50%. So, just like in real life, the British driver is on the top step of the podium, and we got a British 1, 2, 3 to boot as well. So, let's run through your order. As we've got Tony that wins, Mata in second, Waitsy third, Speed Knighton in fourth, Gaff in fifth, Casper in sixth, Lexi seventh, Enzo in eighth, Ewan in ninth, and David rounds up your top 10. And then we got Kieran, Leroy, Yarham, and Glock. We had pretty much a 2-car pileup, but we had multiple cars involved. I'm sure there will be quite a few stewards inquiries to that as well. And I'll be pointing out in the chat, oh, it was Victor Martins that had his DRS stuck open. Oh, okay. I think I remember that as well. So, that was the sprint race. And some decent results from a few people. Flexi from 10th to 7th. Tony from 11th to 1st. Mata at 4th to 2nd. So, most people were outside like the top 5, if you like, in terms of where they finished. Obviously, Gareth and Waitsy, they finished in the top 5 as well, but those two have dropped a few places. So, 15 laps, I believe, if my maths is corrected. But actually, they might have. I think it might. I might have mentioned it in the Discord somewhere. They might mention it in the Discord about how many laps we were, but I'm sure it's 15. I'm sure it's 15. Quite a few drivers saying about people braking too early. Sometimes you can tell that they brake early because maybe they might not have too much practice and they want to probably play it safe as well. So you've got to be wary about your driver surroundings. You always brake early in Monza, especially towards turn number 1. If you follow the racing line, do not brake when it says it to. Brake earlier than that. That's why sometimes it's beneficial to have no racing line around Monza, because sometimes it can trick you to brake earlier the later than you have to. And that's where sometimes what the certain incidents can occur as well. That could be talking bonkers as well, but you know, it happens. So we are on a 2-minute wait as the drivers get ready for the feature race and then get a quick drink, toilet break, bit of a comfort break before we start as well. So we just had the one-shot qualifying and the sprint. Now it's the feature, and the qualifying did decide the grid for this one. So let's run for your order and let's run for your tyres. And I was right, 15 laps. Woohoo, I can do math. So mixture of tyres actually, bearing in mind that the drivers will have to make at least one pit stop. So the top 8 of Flexi, Yarham, David, Leroy, Knighton, Casper, Matta and Gareth are on the soft tyres. Kieran, Waitsy are on the medium compounded tyres. Tony is on the softs. Enzo is on the mediums. And then we got Vessia, who just joined us, on the mediums. And Glock and Ewan. Well, Glock's on the mediums and Ewan is on the softs. So that's your order. Now, if I was in this group, if I was racing with them, personally, if I was near the front, like top 3 or whatever, I would be on the softs. If I was anywhere else, I would be on the mediums. But I think you ideally would want to be starting on the mediums if you were near the back, because you'll probably get swamped by a lot of people if you were starting on the mediums near the front of the order, potentially, as well. So, Flexi got a lot to live up to as well after qualifying his car on pole position. This is where the maximum points get handed out. A multiple VSL champion, a reserve driver this season, looking to make a name of himself in his league again on F123. Glock, who retired on the opening lap. Apparently it was because someone punted him as well. But again, the stewards will look into it. As a lot of drivers getting some heat into their tyres as we're about to start once again. So I kind of obviously wish the race was obviously a bit longer, but it's probably roughly about the same as a normal 50% race anyway. But I kind of wish that I wonder if they had the option to do a 75% setting. That would be kind of cool, actually. I think more people would do league races if that's the case. Anyway, 5 red lights are on with a better camera angle this time. And we are underway as Flexi gets good start, but through goes Yarham on the right-hand side. Good reaction speed as well as he head to the Ratafilio chicane for the first time. In his overcast condition, the contact is being made from some of the drivers. A few drivers have been forced to be getting onto the escape road. The camera's awful, by the way, of seeing what has happened. We still got some side-by-side action. Casper up to 3rd, David 4th, Gareth 5th, Kieran in 6th, Waits in 7th. So those two have had a good start as well. Tony, don't forget, started in 11th in the first race. So it's looking at 2. Oh, that was almost an unsafe rejoin there. We've got a few front wings, I think, being lost as well as, Waitsy. Waity's been dropped out of the order. I don't think he's got any front wing damage. So I think he could be A-okay, but it might be some end plate loss for him. So it's Yarham that takes the lead from Flexi. Casper in 3rd. We got Gareth, who's trying to look from the toe to get past David into Ascari. Without the need of DRS, he's looking to use the slipstream to full effect. He's tucked in behind for now. Hopefully, for him, he's going to hope that David makes a mistake. We got Kieran and Tony right on the edge of this as well. So they've got to go for a move anytime soon. It's Gareth around the outside of David. Lovely stuff. Oh, contact! Pile up as Gareth's out the race. Safety car. Nope, only be a C for that one. As David comes in the pits. And that is why you do not go pretty wide there, because something like this happens. So just like the last race, we start with a VSC. Oh, Kieran, you're not meant to overtake Leroy. It's VSC. Unless Leroy overtook under VSC accidentally. But that was a short VSC, so we got one retirement so far. But let's see what everybody else can do. Leroy has dropped back into 7th spot. As they head past in towards turn 4. A few pitters from that pilot. Waitsy is in, David is in, Glock is in, and so is Tony. What could it be? Because obviously Tony won the last race, scored the maximum 8 points. Doesn't look like he's going to get the maximum here today, but at least he doesn't have to pit anymore, I don't think. Waitsy's got a 3-second time penalty, so we got our first track limit penalty already. But I want to do a triple warning, so the stewards may have a look into that as well, as the timing tower is a big bugged for me, my end, once again. Stupid timing tower. But I think maybe on the next lap, when everyone crosses the line, it should be all good. It's usually because, obviously, we've had a safety car, potentially, as well. So Yarham leads, 1.5 seconds ahead of Flexi. He's pulling away that gap, finding a few tenths per lap, which is what he needed. I think he gained a second at one point, maybe during the VSC period. Enzo versus Leroy versus Ewan, or in that big train. Ewan in that Red Bull Academy car, in the Prema. In Jarubala's car to the inside. We got Vessia as well in the championship winning car of Djokovic right now. As I think Leroy struggled a little bit there on traction. Remains in 10th place, or maybe he didn't want to take too many risks at the moment. Now, the top 3, by the way, are on softs, but they will have to pit. Kieran on mediums, but he could stretch it out for a little bit longer, and he'll also pray that there could be a safety car on the horizon, so he could go on the softs at the very end. We don't know how long the softs last in the F2 races. Enzo looking to do exactly the same, but he does have the pace as well, so the drop-off point between the softs and the mediums may be quicker than we once thought as well. And bearing in mind as well, will we see a win streak with some of these drivers? Because obviously I don't think we'll see Tony at getting that win streak, but with the 1988 Italian Grand Prix, it was the only race in the 1988 season which McLaren failed to win, believe it or not. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that later on if we get a safety car period to their name as well. So 2.1 seconds of gap between Flexi and Yarham. Meanwhile, Casper is looking to get second place from Flexi, but doesn't do it at the moment. Past the Atfido chicane for the 4th time, gaining all the power and all the exit speed as well. 5th gear, 6th gear. That's the maximum that these cars can do as well. Maxing the revs through to turn 4. And I think, unless Flex makes a mistake, Casper's going to stay behind for now. So next lap, he is going to try and attempt to go for the move. Speed Knighton gets past Leroy. There he goes. So Speed Knighton up into 9th spot. So Speed Knighton doing really, really well to gain the position he needs currently as well. Points are everything. And our championship leader only in 12th place and will only score 1 point as it stands. Not where he wants to be. And Casper consistently is. He's currently sitting in 3rd in the championship and he can gain masses of points. Bearing in mind the gap between Glock and Casper's about 30 points, I think it was before tonight. So that is something to bear in mind. As Casper, speaking of Casper, he comes in. So Casper comes in to the pit lane. So he's going to change from his softs to the medium tyres. And meanwhile, Mata gets past Kira to the inside of the Ratifido chicane. Nicely done from Mata. Using the DRS to fall effect. And he's up to 3rd. I think we could see a bit more DRS overtakes as well. Will we see some brave overtakes heading towards the Curva Grande? Well, only time will tell. I thought Vessia was going to get past Ewan then, once again, but he's not going to do it right now at the moment. So, Ewan then thinks about it towards the first left mode to the right-hand side. And he doesn't do it. Glock. Setting the fast lap of the race so far, but he didn't want to be where he is at the moment. And with him being on 3 lap of softs, I don't think it's going to last long. But you never know with these F2 cars. Ewan then got the DRS. He's got great straight line speed. He's running a low downforce setup here, and that's what you need in these F2 cars. As Enzo closed the door very nicely on Ewan. So maybe that cornering speed has helped him a little bit there. Ewan gets another chance to attack once again. Maximum speed, maximum rev. Cars are almost 200 miles an hour through the parabolica chicane. As Johan pits. Oh no, Johan! Johan has got a 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. So that will be added to the end of the race, but we've still got battles happening everywhere you look at the moment. We've got 2 of the Red Bull Academy cars fighting. We've got Enzo and you and I almost said Enzo and Max then, but it's just one gamer tag. So Enzo on the right, and I think it's Ewan was on the left-hand side for the time being. And Vessia right on this as well. And Vessia is going to hope that one of these drivers goes deep and can capitalise on their time, but they really, because they have no ERS in these F2 cars, all they've got to think about is skill and setup. I think setup is going to be very, very key around here as they got a bit squirmy as they head towards the second Lesmo. DRS activated for the likes of Ewan and Enzo. Kieran won't have any. So I think Enzo's got to use it. To the left-hand side he goes. But Kieran covers him off. A bit of contact once again. And look at this. Ewan's going to cover him off on the inside. Through the final part of the Sky chicane. And through goes Vessia as well. Right in the middle of this. We know how going 3 wide near the parabolica chicane does not work. So let's hope they don't do that again. As Vessia gets past Ewan. Beautiful stuff. As Vessia is up into 5th spot. So I wonder if the softcore Magnetars are really starting to die now. More 5-second time penalties for speeding in the pit lane. So I think these drivers, you've got to be wary about this sometimes. Be careful with the time penalties. Leroy comes in. Ewan comes in as well on mediums. I thought Mata would have been the first person to come into the pit lane, but he's one of the ones, as well as Flexi, that has stayed out. Now coming out of the pit lane, David comes out just ahead of Ewan. So that was nicely timed from him. So David up into 9th spot. But he's got that time penalty and it will get added to the end of that race as well. Enzo now 2 tenths. He's gaining. He knows he wants to get past, but he's just got to find that edge. He's got to think, right, what will Kieran not do when he defends, and do that? But that is a really hard thing for a driver to do, to think about what the other drivers are doing. Sometimes, many of the time, you got to focus on yourself. As yellow flag, that is, who was that yellow flag for? Oh, that was, I think, Leroy. Yeah, that might have been Leroy, actually, that lost it there. As another speeding in the pit lane penalty, not quite sure who that was. That could be huge advantage for Glock, as he gained a bit of traction on Leroy, a bit of a squirmy on him. But we've got Flexi, Mata, Kieran, Vessia, Johan, Knighton. They're all coming in. Flexi and Mata on the medium tyres, where I think everybody else is going to be going on to a set of the soft compound tyres. Vessia, obviously, one of those drivers. Casper gaining a lot. Same with Flexi. Flexi stopped, I think, because he got that 2-second gap on Mata. He was able to get ahead of everybody anyway. But it is Johan that leads the field away. He's your net race leader. Endo, bearing in mind, still has yet to make his pit stop. And of course, you have to make a mandatory pit stop in this F2 event. And he's the only one not to do so. Waitsy has made 2 stops, but he's still going. So fair play to him for still going in this race. Shows the pure dedication that he has to this league. About starts lap 9 then. Flexi. He's got 5 seconds to make up on Johan. Lost a chunk of time, but he knows what he's got to do now to try and reel him in, because he knows that those meetings won't last forever. Enter then with the last driver to come in, and he's going to go onto the soft tyres. So everybody has done their mandatory pit stop. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 drivers on softs, everyone else on medium tyres. I thought more people would go on softs, but I forgot that a lot of people start on the soft compounded tyres. Bearing in mind, it is a 50% race. So tyre progression can be quite difficult as Vessier hits the back of Ewan. And that is one prime example of why you need to think about braking just a little bit earlier than the F1 cars. And like I said with the racing line, don't brake when the racing line tells you to. Brake a bit earlier than when the racing line tells you to. That's my advice around Monza. But sometimes I don't follow my own advice, and sometimes I just lose it in turn 1, which can easily be done. Through Lesmo 1, both the Red Bull Academy cars are Kieran and Ewan drilling it off once again. Ewan doing a superb job, by the way. Let's look at positions gained then, because we haven't done so in a lot of times in this race. So Johan's gained 1, Casper has gained 3, Mass has gained 3, Kieran has gained 4, Ewan has gained 8, and so has Vessier as well. Enzo has gained 4, Glock has gained 4 as well. So those are obviously the lots of drivers that are getting the most. Keep an eye on, obviously, the likes of Ewan and Vessier. Ewan as well. But bearing in mind, he does have that time penalty. So the ones with no time penalties are getting the most. Casper and Mata. That could be, I think, very, very key. So, has your predictions, by the way, changed in who you think is going to be getting that race victory? Only time will tell, and it will be announced in just under 5 laps time. Or just over, believe it or not, as well. Still, anything can happen in VSL, and it usually does, as Maury Walker would like to say, as Mata has gained a lot of time on Kieran, heading towards turn number 4. Can he make the move stick? No! Kieran gaining the good speed through turn 4 and 5. Mata has really got to gain it through the Lesmos. And I think Ewan could use it to full advantage here at the moment. Ewan in the Prema, Mata in the Virtuosi car. By the way, I love the Virtuosi suits in the F2 cars, by the way. But anyway, here comes Ewan. Ewan, who's got quite a few best results so far, would like potentially get a podium. It's still possible with the amount of penalties that people have got at the moment. By the way, Johan, the gap between Johan and Flexi is still closing up a little bit, but Flexi will need to be, I think, about 3 to 5 seconds clear anyway, even if he does get past him. Oh, as Ewan runs a bit wide, just a little bit once again. So Ewan on the attack once more. This could be his chance. Enzo as well. We'll keep an eye on Enzo. Enzo to the left-hand side. On left-hand side of the Antifa chicane. Enzo, I'm in 7th. I might have said that wrong, but oh well. Enzo up into 7th spot. I think we saw Leroy almost being under pressure from Glock as well. Glock making up 3 spots, but ideally he want to be near the front, but he's not near the front. Oh, yellow flag, that is Leroy. Leroy has had a bit of an issue at the moment, but he's still going to get points at this stage. Enzo to the inside of Vessier. Kieran's drops it. Kieran, oh, what's happened to the cameras? There we go. My controller must have lost rest on something. Anyway, VSC has been deployed and Kieran has got no front wing. So you're going to be fast on the straights, my friend. But you're not going to be fast in the corners. So he has to come in. And for his sake, he is going to hope that he's got some fresh softs available. Because otherwise, he's going to be in a spot of bother. Will we see cars come in? I think we won't unless it's a full safety car. I don't think we are going to get a full safety. Oh no, Mata has got a drive-through penalty for speeding on the VSC. And let's hope that he has seen the data, because if he hasn't, that is worrying. And Mata is going to serve his drive-through straight away just in case we get a safety car. Vessier gets past Enzo. But Enzo's going to try and fight back as well. Kieran as well with that spin. And Kieran's staying out. Kieran is staying out. There was a bit of a bump, I think, from Vessier. No, actually, it was a bit of a bump for Kieran, actually. But Kieran, I'll be given the meatball flag, as in, like, the repair flag, if I was him. Kieran needs to come in because Kieran is a liability on track with his damaged front wing. Because Kieran is fighting with people that have got their front wings intact. Could spell a disaster if Kieran makes contact with any of those drivers. Kieran has to come in. I know he's going to lose loads of time. But we've got the likes of Leroy and Waitsy down in the back anyway. And you're going to get him points. And you're going to be dropping way down the order. David is going to catch up. Pete's going to catch up as well. And speaking of Pete, he's right over the back of David. Through the Ascari straight. So we're going to see Knighton pull to the left-hand side, which he does. So Knighton stays in 8th spot, but I know David will fight back on that. Knighton with no penalties, by the way. So if I was Kieran, I would come in. Well, maybe Kieran doesn't know that maybe Kieran doesn't know about his front wing damage, but surely Mark would have told him by now. Kieran's got to come in. And Kieran gets 3-second time penalty. Oh, there could be a few questions. Or it might be a glitch of the game where he doesn't have front wing damage and the game says, well, the spectator says, yes, you do, but the game's like, on Kieran's end, no, I don't. No, I don't. So, plenty of stuff still to be unanswered. Johan looking on course to be taking a victory. And has he got a victory this season? He has not got a victory this season. So, he's looking on course to be scoring his first win since last season 10, which was last season. It was on the F1 22 game. Still got 2.5 laps still to go of this feature race in the F2. We will, of course, go back to the F1 cars next week when we head to Baku. If you think Monza was crazy enough, welcome to Baku next week, folks. So, we got 2 laps to go. People will start to take a lot of risks now. Pete still stays out again. No, Kieran still stays out again with his damaged front wing. I'm starting to believe they could be a glitch, I think. Because Kieran wouldn't be fighting this hard. Or maybe a damaged front wing in an F2 car is not as bad as we thought. So, is Kieran on speed? Knighton doing his absolute best to try and get... No, it's not Kieran on Knighton, it's Kieran on Vessier, sorry. They'll be in the timing tower instead of looking at the actual battle. And yeah, I think you can start to see Kieran struggle now. I wonder if he's got a puncher. Let's check the rear. No, his wheels look fine. The wheels look fine on this car, but yeah. So Kieran, I think maybe with him having a front wing damage for so long, it's probably come back to bite him, unfortunately. But meanwhile, his teammate in, I think, Ewan, he's doing a lot better in 4th spot. Could be on course for a podium. But Casper has got no penalties. He has served them in the pit lane. Yellow flag, that is Speed Knighton, who's gone for a spin in the Virtuosi car. So that's a shame because he was doing so well. But look at the marbles that he's got on his tyres, which is not ideal. So we are on the final lap of this race, with Yarham leading the way. Flexi in 2nd spot, as I've been getting my notes out. Casper 3rd, Ewan 4th, as David has gone into the pits. Does he know that we got 1 lap left? Because he's not going to get the fastest lap. Or maybe he's repairing damage. Bear in mind, pit stops are longer in F2 than compared to F1 cars. But yeah, I'm a bit perplexed. Why are you pitting, David? Because you're not going to get a fast lap. Unless he thought he got damaged, but he didn't. But anyway. So, Yarham has driven an amazing race so far. He took the lead in lap 1, and he stayed there for the whole race. If Flexi had a few more laps, I think Flexi would have done it. But on track at least, and I think it's going to stay that way. Yarham goes towards the parabolica, up to the line, and he wins in Monza. And I think he's going to keep it that way because I don't think the gap, and it could be a side-by-side across the line. Casper is going to get 3rd. Great stuff from Casper. Enzo takes 4 from Ewan due to Ewan's 5-second penalty. Vessier from last on the grid to 6th. Brilliant work from him. Kieran with a damaged front wing in 7th, but I wonder the stewards will look into that for racing in a dangerous condition. And we got the 2 teammates, and 9 and Matto, who's going to fight towards the line. Oh, they both made contact, but luckily they both finished the race. 47,000 Pete just about gets Matto. So Glock's going to come across the line then in 10th spot. And then we got David and Leroy. That'll be the final 2 drivers at this rate. Will score points, but Tony could get them at the end. What a shame for Tony. Could it be maximum points for him today? But unfortunately, with the issues that he had earlier on with the pile-up, he just gets past that point by, I think it's only top 12 to get that as well, but at least he's got something to smile about. So then we're just waiting for Waitsy to cross the line. So that's the end then of round 7 of the championship. We hope you enjoyed that. Some drivers performed well. Certain drivers did not. And one of the reasons why a few drivers had issues was that because there was a few drivers trying to make it free wide, and you do not make it free wide. So I'll need to double check after this race what that does with the championship standings overall and in the Formula Euro Open. With Casper scoring well in both races, he could close up quite significantly, which will be very good. This is why I like having multiple championships. So, feature race, here we go. So Yarham wins from Flexi in 2nd, Casper 3rd, Enzo 4th, Ewan 5th, Vessier in 6th, Kieran in 7th, Speed Knight in 8th, Matto 9th, Glock 10th, Then we've got David and Leroy, your final point sitters. Tony in... Oh, Glock gets the fastest lap. Oh, yeah, Glock gets the fastest lap. Okay. Tony in 13th. Waity 14th. Gav, your only retirement. And that is it then for Monza. Next week, we head to Baku, the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, where some drivers I've noticed on this game have found it a bit more tricky than previous games in terms of grip levels, tyre wear, tyre temperatures, ERS usage. Burns quite a lot here, so drivers have got to be on their A game as well. And the big question remains on my lips as well. Will fuel be an issue? We'll be back in the F1 cars next week. And how will the race tonight and in the race to come affect the championship? I've been Jess Ball. Thank you so much for listening. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell if you're new. We want to get ourselves to 200 subscribers, so make sure if you haven't subscribed, please do. Follow us on Twitter at VSL_R1. And a final plug as well about VSL Rally. We will be launching a Rally League on the upcoming EA Sports WRC game. And it will be around November time. Check out VSL_Rally on Twitter. Make sure you follow them to keep up to date with all news relating to this venture. So, yes, another league going on, which is going to be absolutely amazing. But thank you so much for watching. See you next week for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Will there be chaos or will they keep it clean? See you soon. Bye-bye.